The software world is shifting from a mass market model to one of personalization at scale. Fueled by no-code tools and generative AI, individuals and small teams are now creating highly tailored applications, sometimes in minutes. This moment raises big questions. What happens to traditional software vendors? Who ensures quality, security, and ethics? And what does it mean when everyone can build the software they need? We have a special guest tonight on the Rundown, along with some favorites on our panel. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you here on the Rundown, a later edition. I apologize. I had a big meeting I had to be at, and I wasn't able to get out. It's 9:30 here on the East Coast. I'm exhausted, but this is going to be a good conversation because it's personal to me. More about that in a little bit. But first, let me introduce some of my good friends. Hey, Tamara, how you doing?
I'm so excited to be here.
Did I hear you say that you're in 2 meetings at the same time right now?
I have a New York rehearsal happening in one meeting, and then I have us
Fantastic.
on 3 screens.
I
We get
love
to be
that.
on 3 screens.
Oh, well, there you go. I love that. Hey, Sky, how are you doing?
Just got off another call, and the speaker was coming in from Bali.
Bali, really?
Yeah, and he was leading it was a platform called Wista, and it was the other group that I hang out with, and yeah, so I sitting here in the comfort of my basement office, and all of the geese are quacking and squawking out there, and I'm enjoying my friends from Florida and Atlanta, and I don't know where Ellis is from.
Elias.
And I got Elias.
He's here in Florida. Yeah.
Florida.
He's down here with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Lois, how are you, ma'am?
Hello.
Hello.
I am doing well. You know, I always have admired Sky's scarves. And now that it's getting to be fall, I went out and now it's not really a scarf, but it's fuzzy and it's cute.
Wait, I need a button to put you both next to each other. I don't have that button built yet. So we can see. So wait, you're both wearing scarves? Hold on.
No. We're both fuzzy and cute.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's
You.
you're both fuzzy and cute. Not nearly as cute as our token Canadian friend, as we said before the show. How you doing, Dave?
I'm used to it. How's it going, hosers?
We're doing pretty good. How you doing up there?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
I'll be fine.
You guys really upset our president. this
Did
week.
we?
Yes, you did.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah.
You know, a man who's tearing down the White House, but he doesn't
Okay,
own
all
it.
right, moving on.
Okay,
Moving
yeah,
on. We
you
don't
want
do
an insult,
politics.
I got one. Okay.
Hello to Tony Mobley. How you doing, Tony?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Good to see you. You've had a busy week, my friend. You were on Monday night. You had your show last night. You're here tonight, man.
It's going to be here
And I
all
hope
week.
Tomorrow afternoon.
And we'll see you tomorrow afternoon. I look forward to it. And I am really excited to introduce all of you to my good friend Elias Ben-Arush. Elias is down here in Miami by me. Let's just put our cards on the table. I know Elias for Emmy. Emmy goes to my school, and I love Emmy. So Elias is okay, but Emmy, she's awesome. But
Can't disagree with that.
So the way that I know Elias is every morning at carpool, I walk up to his car and I tell him my tribulations and successes and celebrations with using lovable.dev to build apps, and he just has my ear all the time, and I'm so appreciative. But just tell everyone who you are, Elias, what kind of work you're in, and introduce yourself.
Great. Well, everyone, and thank you for having me on. Very, very excited to be here. My name's Elias Ben-Arush. I live down here in Miami. I'm the CTO of a tech company called VM 2020. We develop software, very tailored software for large companies, large banks, large governments to prepare against cyber attacks. So I know part of the conversation today is about couture software. We do build very niche software, but very powerful software, specifically designed around cybersecurity, cyber resilience, recovery, which is, as you all can imagine, a very hot topic today. So it's been keeping me very, very busy over the past couple of years. I know we're not here to talk about cybersecurity, cyber resiliency, but of course, we've been exposed, as with everyone in the tech industry, to this new wave of AI content generation, AI code generation, AI enabled, really fill in the blank. So I have been exposed firsthand to a lot of these tools, a lot of these capabilities, have experience with them, and have a lot of opinions about them.
Yeah. Fantastic. Awesome. Really glad that you're here. Thank you for being here. Gary is saying that the audio is cutting out. Is that just you, Gary, or is that everyone, Vic, or anyone who's watching? Let me know if you're having some audio issues. Everyone sounds okay to me. All right, so let's do it. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into the news. What do you say? If it wasn't crazy enough to have Google Maps and Google Satellites and all of this, Google now has Google Earth AI. Google Earth AI. I want to hide this because it's bothering me that's hiding out from under. There we go. All right. So what is Google Earth AI? So this is a huge expansion for Google. It's what they're talking about it as Google Earth Gemini or DeepMind more specifically. Google Earth meets DeepMind, and it's using Gemini to interpret, to predict, and to visualize planetary data. Planetary data. They're saying meets DeepMind with Gemini's reasoning layered on top. And I wanted to know what can this actually do, right? What are the takeaways? So disaster response, they're saying predicting cyclone paths and flood zones using neural nets and their next models, public health, mapping cholesterol data, urban planning, identifying storm drains near schools in New York City using AI mapping. This feels to me next level. This feels to me like this feels to me like what OpenAI said this week. They had a big live stream that they did, a big announcement about kind of laying bare what their plans are for the next 20 years. And this, along with that, makes me feel like we're talking about really big things. We're not talking about chatbots anymore. We're kind of we've already in just 2 years sort of gotten over the chatbots, and now we're talking about how can we cure cancer? You know, how
Well,
can
now
we?
they're using all that data they gathered for the last 10 years by Facebook and all the rest, and they know all our emails and where we've been to travel and what we paid for an airline ticket, and it's all coming back now. It's in a global kind of context now, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But in a way more positive way than stealing our data and selling us things, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
When I read the background research, I got this vision in my head of being in New York when I was in college and having a pocket full of tokens, subway tokens, and like 15 subway maps in my bag.
Yeah.
And when I had moved back in 2013, things I realized then that just by having Google Maps and maps in my on my cell phone, that I saw much more of New York than I did when I lived there the early 90s. And so it really hit home when I was reading that article of like, we've been kind of talking about these deep conversations on, is it ethical and all of these things, but really it is opening up a world that I think we can't really imagine right now. Because before we were, if you're on the creative side of any kind of app or anything, you are thinking about what is possible, and that's an exciting moving target. But often people told you what was important, and right now we're now shifting to where AI is telling us what's important, and I think that's a really interesting shift that has a lot of deep implications, both good and bad.
What's important based on what other people have told it what's important.
Exactly. I mean, and I'm the person who always makes that argument, but I do think it's a little bit, it's shifting in the last, I think, month, 3 or 4 weeks of being a thing to play on your computer with, mind your mid games and basic chat GPT, to really seeing that there's a lot different possibilities of it. So and you're right. It's not I've never thought it's just this thing that's taking on its own, but it's the human combination of that, I think, is really interesting and has interesting implications.
Today, I have yet to put a game on my computer because at the beginning of computers, they
Dave's disowning you.
it was, oh, you're playing your game on that TV thing. It's like, no, I'm doing databases, I'm doing spreadsheets, I'm doing the three at the beginning, drawing pictures, but I think we're maturing as a species, and consequently, I'm scroll down to the bottom of this, and I looked at the water, and it talked about environmental impacts, critical flood forecasting, and I reckon our mutual friend who has since passed, John Preto, interviewed a gentleman that talked about we now have the same amount of water that we've always had on this same planet. So consequently, it's not a matter of what resources we have, it's the and so if I'm really looking forward to this conversation, if this is going to help with the data of humanity, distribution for humanity, I'm all for it. But we're humans.
I do have a general question for us to kind of think about too, is the who cares question. And we care, but there's thinking about how long it takes for, when we got YouTube and we got the iPhone, everybody knew it was kind of, people who are techie people were waiting for a tiny computer in their pocket. So we're kind of on the cusp of what we're waiting for. So I'm also interested in having that part of the conversation, is thinking about when will the world catch up with what AI is doing, and is there changing so fast that that general population doesn't catch up? I'm curious about that. I don't have an answer for that. I want to know our panel's thoughts.
Well, the very cycles that it goes through, we have major changes that happen at very long time intervals, and then we accelerate it. And electric age, we've sped things up so much, people are having trouble adapting because I have a phrase that came up recently. We have a Neanderthal emotions, medieval institutions, and a godlike technology. And if you mix those together, it's like schizophrenia. So
I want
That's
that
awesome.
T-shirt. Shirt.
The rundown T-shirt.
Yeah. I feel like one of the things that is amazing to me about this announcement is how this has been in the works for decades, because this is built on decades of mapping. And, we, for you and I, or I'll just speak for myself, for me, Google Maps was a convenient, nice, great app to have in my pocket.
Did you ever use Google Earth though?
So I have. I actually used to.
Yeah.
I actually built a website which used Google Earth. When I say build a website, I mean I did this through Wix. I didn't actually build anything, but it used Google Earth to travel people around to different places, and they could accomplish different goals. It was actually very, very cool. But my point is that what for me is a nice, cool app is for Google the foundation of something so much bigger that I can't even imagine in this
It's
moment.
a living encyclopedia. That's,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Right.
And really, it's a mix of science and creativity, because it takes to think through what is impossible and what isn't possible and mixing that with what is possible. So there have been people who've thought about this for a really long time and have been waiting in the same way that I was waiting to get, a small computer in my pocket.
Right.
Can I ask you guys a question?
No, you can't.
Okay. I'm curious. I've been looking at this as we've been talking about it, and I didn't see anything, and I might have missed it. I didn't see anything about the AI considering global warming. Did I miss that, or is that included?
That would be
using
one of
AI
the
to
uses
solve
of the
global
tool.
warming, or the implications of AI data
Well,
centers on global warming?
I really was asking, does this particular model speak to when it's doing its data assessment of things? Is global warming a part of it?
Right. It mentions floods, wildfires, air quality, cyclones. It doesn't specifically mention, you're right, global warming.
But this is the tool that you would use, and you could use it to study global warming. It's just
Yeah, I'm just
And
The
it-
use case, yeah.
right. I agree with Tony. It is interesting to me. I hadn't noticed that. I do think it's interesting they didn't mention that.
I think they didn't mention it for political reasons,
It's
but
very politically charged
imagine-
subject.
That's
I
exactly what I
imagine
think.
that there's a whole division solely
Yeah.
doing that work
Yeah.
with this tool.
It's interesting also because I think
Yeah.
for political reasons.
Super
yeah.
interesting.
What on a technical level, I would say though, with global warming, they may not have the data because it is a very historically data-rich model that you need for global warming, because it's not something we measure over years. You need hundreds of years to make those proper predictions, and they don't have that data. Right? Google Maps and all that data really started being compiled 10, 20 years ago. So it may not be the right use case for it.
Right.
I think where it would be in what we're seeing the AI fill in models without data by having some data points and then being able to run through different kinds of projections. And so I think that would be the interesting use case for scientists in that area to say, we don't have all the data, but we have, and if we put this amount of data in and we run it through different options, again, that's a human coming up with different kind of scenarios and using this tool to say, what do you think?
Yeah. All right. So this is, I was thinking about this all day. So this one of these things is not like the other. Like, so the next thing is Canva Create, and for serious people, this is the silly. I like it. I mean, it's serious technology people and art folks and marketing. Yes, they may use it a little bit, but they use other much more serious tools. But for everyone else, including me, Canva is just an incredibly important platform. And today they had their big annual event, Canva Create, and they had some really interesting announcements. I had 3 takeaways from it. Did any of the rest of you get to watch it? Did any of you see any of it?
I didn't get to watch it, but I read all the recaps.
Okay, I don't.
And
I kind of hate watching it because they try and put on a real show
they're so
and
bad.
like there's a comedian and a band and a dancing and I like it doesn't matter. Okay.
I've been in
you're gonna
Canva
offend
all
Dave
day.
on your dance comment. You're gonna offend Dave.
I know, I'm sorry. Okay, so here are my 3 big takeaways. One was, of course, Canva AI. Now, there's been AI built into Canva for a long time now, but I don't know, they officially launched it today or whatever, but now and it's built in. So it's built in where you're working. You can now have conversations with it. You can chat with it, and it'll make suggestions and yada yada yada. I'm not all that impressed, to be honest with you, with Canva AI.
I used it today. No.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. The second thing that I felt that they really focused on was brand. They want Canva to grow in how it helps businesses create and market and design their brand. The third takeaway, which to me was actually, I think, the most interesting, was the new ways in which you can use Canva. One of those being, and
Yep.
I thought this was just really, really interesting. So there is a new tab that says Email Create New, and you can use one of their templates or you can create your own. It's essentially just it's a regular old Canva, a drag and drop kind of thing. So use this one. I just clicked on one. But here's what's cool. So now, if you go up to share, you can now download this as HTML and images, which you can then upload into your email of choice, or you can connect your Gmail and just send directly from Gmail. You got a Gmail button here. If I export this to Gmail, it's going to open up Gmail. It's going to populate this design right into my Gmail, and then I can just send it off. And I have to say, it's really, I like the implementation a lot. It looks exactly the way it looks in Canva, which I've never actually had that experience. Like I've never been able to, I don't know if this is just an image. It's multiple images, actually, I can see. No, it's not actually. No, it's not. It's not an image because you can manipulate different parts of it. Yeah, you can change the text and everything here. I just think it's a really, really nice implementation. Tamara, what did you?
No, I saw that today because I've been in Canva all day long, and I use Canva daily, and I love Canva because lay people can use it. So and I live in the world of high-end software, so I absolutely understand it. But there's just such an ease of use, and you can share it with people. I do find the email thing, I was like, wow, why did that take so long? Because it's such a perfect tool for Canva. But the fact that it seamlessly goes to Gmail is
I know that's my
probably
favorite
the
part.
coolest thing,
Yeah.
because so many of the other integrations, like it's supposed to be integrated with Chat GPT, but it quite works. And so when I tried it, I was like, wow, it actually works. That's amazing.
Yeah,
So I did like that about it.
I agree. I was kind of thinking
my
that,
gut instinct feels like we're just creating a new, fun, fancier pencil.
yeah. No, I
I
think
was
you're probably
thinking
right.
stationery store, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's great. And I continue to ponder the Shakespeare quote of put 1,000 monkeys on 1,000 typewriters, well, you get Shakespeare. Well, I don't know, you get some pretty good looking stuff.
You do, and at the end of the day, if you can get eyeballs on something, then that's If something is colorful and flashy, it's going to stand out more, than
And I use Canva. I've been a fan. The collaborative thing that they did long before Adobe ever thought about it. The collaborative,
Yeah.
the stylization templates that they've got
Yeah.
by the billions. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an amazing everybody.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lois.
One of the things that I noticed I should tell the viewers that Dave makes these wonderful sheets and gives us suggestions and comes up with topics and all this stuff. And when I was reading through the Canva one, but they have now got the affinity apps.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all know affinity apps, but they're cool, and they are now free through Canva. So
Yeah.
it's very cool.
You're right. Thank you for mentioning that. I should have mentioned that. They acquired Affinity back in 2024. And actually, you know why I didn't mention it? Because I was off in the corner, and for some reason, the audio cut out right before the Affinity announcement. I don't know why. And I don't know if it was just me, but so I actually couldn't hear the Affinity piece. But yes, so Designer, Photo, and Publisher are now free. Now, I don't know, though, how do you access those through? I wonder if those are
The
as
details.
apps.
I just
Yeah.
So
heard
David,
the
let
announcement.
me ask you something, because you made an interesting comment there about the Canva email and the purpose of being able to get eyeballs on it.
Yeah.
It said that you already integrated it with Gmail.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could tell it, and out from these pictures are telling you what I want? Can't you look at the previous emails I've sent and figure out which style had the most eyeballs on it, which style people opened the most?
Right.
And pick your style based on that, based on this campaign, based on this type of email, based on this audience.
Yeah.
I think that's AI
Yeah.
is being
And
able to
that's
make those requests without having to go through a whole team of data
Right.
analysts to get that result.
So had they built email into Canva, right? Had they built an email server into Canva so that you could actually email directly from Canva, then it would be look at open rates or click-through rates or all that other stuff, give you that data, and then help you craft the next email. But right now, it's just sending it off to your email platform.
Right.
But yeah,
But even like the free versions of CRMs do that. So like it's only a matter of time, right? Before, because
It's
they're going to
connecting
move
the
to the way
dots.
everybody else is moving. I did notice that it has been a little clunkier to add graphics in the last couple weeks. So things that used to be there are not there anymore. And there's so that's been a little weird. And the AI stuff, I have to say, I cannot being integrated so much into everything where every sentence is interrogated and all. I just don't, I want to turn it off.
I agree.
Honestly, I love AI, but I also worked really hard to be a writer. I don't need the simplification of every sentence.
I don't see Affinity apps. I wonder if maybe those aren't front and center quite yet, because I don't see, unless they've just integrated the tools and the
That's what I was gonna
functionality
say.
in. I don't see a way to actually access
Ask
them.
AI.
Yeah, no. But there was a nice photo. This is
Oh,
new.
well, get him down a rabbit hole if you do that. He'll
Yeah, I
be
know. Hey,
15
Dave,
minutes in
Dave,
the.
come back.
Okay,
We gotta
sorry,
show
sorry.
look at
I'm
that.
back. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm here. In any case, Canva create it's the keynote is not worth watching, but the reviews, some of the reviews, some of the
Aren't you a critic?
yeah, sorry. Ask AI to tell you what happened in it, and it'll tell you. But it's millions upon millions upon millions of people use it, and it's an amazing tool. So
That's
it's
how I get paid, is to do those shows for those corporations. So
yeah,
you don't have to love them. Just
that's right. All right.
I am getting a technical note that whenever we say the most important things, it's when the audio breaks up and goes away.
Well, that's perfect. Isn't that right? Isn't that how it's supposed
Yeah.
to work?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a friend in
Saying
Oh,
Boise.
okay,
lots of
then
important things
Well,
today.
just
A
talk
friend-
about the weather then, I guess.
What's
That's
friend in
pretty
Boise
important.
just
Yeah.
reminded. He's reached out. He's a new viewer. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
And he's been texting me on the back end over here. So it's like,
Well,
oh,
YouTube's
sorry,
having
Mark.
a day. What can we tell you?
The number's
right.
42.
Let's jump into the main topic here. So I want to frame this with just telling you. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you. I I tend to purchase little software doodads and little apps that problems. I've stopped doing that. I've stopped purchasing third-party software that helps me solve little problems, because now I can just build my own third-party software to help solve problems. And I want to show you two sort of silly examples that I started building last week, and one that I started building yesterday. So yeah, let's do this one first. So I have a program here of kindergartners, first graders, and second graders, and they are starting a TV show. They're starting their own news show, and I needed a way for them to access reliable news that's appropriate, kid-friendly, and a way for them to interact with that news. I looked at a number of different tools. There's National Geographic has a tool online. Time Magazine has a tool online. None of them had everything that I needed. So I lovable.dev, which is my vibe coding app of choice, and I started to build this app. And this is what I came up with. It's called CuriousKidsNews.com. You're all welcome to go visit it if you'd like. And it has 3 different sections to it. So why is today? So at first, when I built this, I had it going out and finding, a bespoke celebration for each day. Since then, I've hard-coded these in. It's got weather, because my kids are obsessed with the weather. And then it's got 6 different news stories in 6 different categories that I told it. So what I do is I'll take you into the back end here, and what happens is every week, every Sunday, it automatically chooses 6 news stories for me. So this week, the week of 10/25, these are the 6. It goes out, it finds real news stories, it converts those into very short, kid-appropriate, kid language text. It creates an AI image, it puts it all together, and then it presents it to the. It also will read it to the children out loud. So the kindergartners who can't read yet, they click a button and it will read it to them. And now I've got all these kids just using this and interacting with it, and it's kind of amazing. So NASA astronaut talks about space and parenting. Right, so here's this little story about Eileen Collins, who was a famous NASA astronaut. I didn't even ask it to do this. It created a word box, a think about it box, and a way to and something for kids to do at home. A try this box. And here's the play up here. So it's going to generate the audio. Hopefully you should be able to hear it when it starts. Is it playing? I can't tell. Hold on a second.
It's being suppressed.
No, it's not playing for some reason.
Well, you advertised it. You crashed it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I did. Everyone's on there crashing it. It's all right. It's just that I have the audio routed incorrectly, I think.
Is it in a kid voice?
No, it's not. But it is in a nice voice. I actually started with using OpenAI, one OpenAI model, then Labs, which has really nice voices, and then it actually brought me back to I believe it was a Gemini model, which is actually really, really nice. It sounds really nice. And then this is the latest thing I added, a way for kids to interact with it. So here's the NASA, right? It's about NASA. So I can say, what does NASA stand for? And if kids, they're all using iPads, so they can actually just speak in, oh, that's not in the story. Interesting. They can actually speak the question in instead of typing it in. But let's say, what's a question about this story? Well, here, let me click on one of these. What does astronaut mean in the story? And then it gives you the answer. And again, they can play the answer here. So in any case, the point here being, I had a unique problem, right? I wanted to these categories. I want a simple story. I want kids who can't read yet to be able to maybe listen to it, and I want them to be able to interact with it. I came into Lovable and it built it. Now, this I started doing yesterday. So this is called Build My Schedule. One of the things that I hate doing most in the world on scheduling. And what I mean by scheduling is not my own personal schedule, but when you've got at a camp, for example, you've got 10 groups and you've got 12 activities. How do you make sure that every group has every activity and that none of them don't overlap and blah, 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 blah. So I started over in I created a prompt, brought it back over to Lovable, and now I've got 3 distinct programs here. So this is Gonstein. This is my dashboard. This shows me what activities do I have, how many of the classes have that activity, and if I click into any one of these, it'll show if there are any conflicts. So let's actually go back over here to my schedule builder. So this is where I actually build the schedules. I have all my activities over here. I can just, let's drag this. Whoops. Let's drag this. I'll put it there. So now, if I want to check the master schedule for this to see, are there any conflicts? I left these conflicts in intentionally. I chose 3 classes, and it's going to show me where the conflicts are, so I can see what I need to change. Of this, it will allow me to print all of these out in just beautiful. Here's the point. I don't need to pay someone to do this for me anymore. Do I need to pay anyone to create any software anymore now that we have these amazing tools, and this is the last thing I'll say, then I promise I'll stop. This tool is so much better than it was 6 months ago. It's a completely different tool than it was 6 months ago. That's how much better it is. So let me just bring it back to you all. First of all, do any of you use any of these tools in your work? And Elias, you go last because I know you do. So does anyone else, are any of you using any of these low code or no code tools in your work?
I've used Lovable to create I've started it to create a matching service to take my writers and be coffee dates or coffee Zooms other times. So I need it to not repeat writers and to not do so I've started coding that, and I was surprised at how easy it was, but then I also felt like it would take up so much of my time if I started going down that road. It was just I became like, but then I could do this and then I could do this. And I'm not sure I have all of that in me. But I definitely really think that when you aren't serving the masses, which is what software has to do, it has to kind of serve software companies have to serve lots. And we're seeing that with Canva. We're seeing it with things like Zoom, where everybody that is creating a whole universe in their what was a basic software, being able to just solve a tiny problem and have it customized is a cool idea. I don't know that I want to keep up with the maintenance of it because you're getting a brand new thing that is working, but as systems change and all of that, is it going to still continue to work is the question.
So I'll say one thing to that, and that is that one of the things I love about doing it myself and not having someone else do is that when something does break, I can go right in and address it. Right? There's no third party I have to wait for. I have to send a ticket in. I can just, that doesn't mean I always fix it right away or that I'm able to even, but I can take action when I want to take action. Sky, go ahead.
I go to Home Depot building here in the house, and so I am so grateful that it's less than 2 blocks away. But I am not a carpenter, I'm not an electrician, but the convenience of having that there, and I'm walking in there with professionals, but I am not a professional in construction. And by the way, did go on to CuriousKidNews.com. I said, ask me a question. So I did. Are French fries good for you? And the answer is French fries are yummy, but not candy corn. They are a treat you should eat sometimes, not every day. Candy corn day is a treat, not a salty snack.
So you
So-
asked the question, you click the ask a question on the special day button
Oh, I don't know what
because
said,
it's why today is candy corn day.
treat me like a kindergartner because
Okay,
I just
fine.
I clicked a button
Yeah,
that
you
was
just pressed a
available.
button. I
And so
see, but
consequently,
now I can go in and fix that, Sky.
you're welcome, Mr. Beta Man. But I'm also partnering with Guy Cochran, and he is doing the adult version of this. And it's called Mindful, and it's how to, again, to Tamara's point earlier, what are we doing with our time? And this is the weighting it and giving you that perspective of, is that really good? Now, again, the diet industries, $1 billion, who knows? I mean, Perplexity could tell us, but I'm still overweight post COVID. Will I lose it if I know that I'm overweight? It's still up to me to make that choice. So, yes, I'm going to be using this because it does remind me of when my kids were in third grade. The program said, hey, you guys need to understand about communication. And so he got everybody a little Hi8 camera. You can tell how old this story is. And consequently, they learned how to make their own commercials so that they could learn critical thinking and also what they're being projected on. Offering this to your students, I am so grateful. You're doing a great job, Dave.
I love it.
Elias, talk to me a little bit about the way that these tools have changed the way the apps that you all create. I mean, you essentially create bespoke security apps, yes, or do you layer security on top of existing apps? How does it work?
No, we really do create bespoke security apps. That's a way of saying it, but yes.
And so are you using tools like this to do
Not
that
like
work?
Lovable, because what Lovable is giving you is end to end.
Right.
It's really taking a human language prompt and converting it to a functional application, website, call it. Unfortunately, in what we do specifically in my company, we can't do that because our software is really running in the core data centers of major banks and major corporations, and we don't trust it to not make mistakes or not introduce vulnerabilities and that, but we do use it for a lot of prototyping. What if we wanted to create an app that could do this? What if we wanted to change something? How would you do it? How would you enable it? And then we take the source code, review it, and we do get very good ideas out of it. So it has been very powerful. Now, on a personal layer, experimented with a lot of these vibe coding apps, and they're extremely powerful, extremely powerful. And David, to your point, I think they do solve a lot of the problems that mass software, mass applications try to do a much better job of it. Right? The scheduling application you just showed us, I guarantee you it can do a much better job than anything you could buy in the public marketplace today.
Well,
even with
but
months of customizations, right?
Most importantly, I know for my specific problems that I needed to solve. That's I think what makes this these new capabilities, these new tools so profoundly impactful is that I didn't create this for it's interesting. When I was first playing around with this stuff, I first thought to myself, ooh, I'm going to sell it, you know? And so I had to learn about multi-tenant apps. And boy, was that a mistake. I tried to do that with one of my, I mean, that's just so over my pay grade. What I've come to learn is that I'm not doing this for anyone else. These are for my specific needs or problems, and that's enough.
That's enough. And it's still valuable to you. I
Right.
mean, think of the time you would have had to spend scoping it and speaking with software designers and developers and paying those developers, and the amount of time you would have invested you did it much faster than if you would have had an infinite budget and had gone out to a company to develop the software
Yes.
for you and
Yeah.
design it and scope it. It still would have taken more time. So from a time
Mhm.
perspective, it is immensely impactful.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to go to Lois. Sky, refresh the website, the Curious Kids News website. I fixed that button for you so it's a little clearer. Go ahead, Lois.
What a multitasker. Amazing.
So I've got a lot of questions. But first, the first one I'll do is one that my husband asked me as we were preparing for the show. AI do coding written in Python.
I would say that's the most proficient language that AI can write. Reason being, Python is a newer language, and there's a very big knowledge base on about writing Python code. So on Reddit, on Stack Overflow, there's a million websites online where all, millions of developers worldwide post their problems. They'll go on this blog website and say, I wrote this code, and they'll paste in the code, but I'm getting this error, and they'll paste in. A developer from somewhere else will go in the chat and say, oh, you made this mistake here and you needed to fix this because AYZ and long descriptions. There are billions of those posts online. So AI has learned very well what, the blog has outlined it for the AI brain. This is the problem. This is how it would fix. And it has 1,000 upvotes so it knows that's the right solution. So yes, it writes Python code, and I tell you that from personal experience, extremely well.
So if you are not a coder, so there would code AI driven software creation. That's what the title of the segment is about. If you don't know coding, how do you know what this program has inserted in the middle of whatever it is you're making? Everybody assumes that, oh, all this stuff is done wonderfully. Well, what if there's a bad actor out there who's putting in a back door to your program without your knowledge?
I know I just answered the previous question. I'll jump in and say, if you don't know code, traditional approach and go hire a developer to build you the app, how do you know they didn't put in a backdoor and they didn't put in a vulnerability if you don't know code?
Well, that is true. However, I'm more apt to trust a human being than I am to trust a multinational corporation.
Fair enough. So that actually is a fantastic question, Lois. And the piece that I take away from that question is not so much about the bad actor, but about knowing code. One of the things that I've read about this type, you don't have to know how to code. Excuse me. You don't have to know how to write code, but you should know how to read code. And I don't yet, but I'm learning a lot just by playing with this stuff. I'm learning a tremendous amount just by playing with this stuff. But you're right. I don't know how to read the code, then I don't know how these apps are written. I don't at all. That's not true, actually. I have an incredibly basic sense of how they're structured just because I've done it so much. There are these tools do have a lot of security built in, and I'll show you. Let me show you one thing really quickly. So I just made an update to the app. This is the Lovable interface. I'm going to click publish here, and you can see that it's every time I want to publish, it does a little security scan, and it's telling me now that I have 2 warnings without those. But I can go through and it will tell me, hey, this isn't very secure, and this is a vulnerability, and this doesn't look good. Is it going to catch everything? Absolutely not. But there are small ways in which this tries to, I think, do its. Is that a fair statement, Elias?
Yes, but there's a circular dependency redundancy in that approach, in my opinion, is that the AI solution that wrote that code is responsible for auditing it, which at least is a big no-no.
Okay. It should be a
So
third party.
what
Yeah.
I would suggest is Lovable wrote this piece. Great. Download the source code and upload it to a completely independent and separate AI model.
Yeah.
If Lovable use Anthropic Claude to upload it to Gemini and ask Gemini, do you find any vulnerabilities? Are there any backdoors, etc.? So pin them against each other or have human in the middle.
Right.
Don't invest your money in paying somebody to develop it. Maybe spend your money paying somebody to edit it and check it.
That's a good
And
idea.
maybe Lois, that addresses your question a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Is this, so we're talking about writing code. Well, is this the same thing as writing a web page? In other words, I know HTML web pages, but would it create something that could then just be uploaded, FTP'd to a location and be a web page?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That would be, in my opinion, the simplest form of using AI.
And since I know HTML, I can check it.
You can, and
I
a
did
simple
something
prompt to
similar to that with,
ChatGPT will do that for you.
yep.
Yeah.
I did it in ChatGPT. I was like, hey, I'm looking for a one-page website on this. And I was shocked. This was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I came back and it was like, here's your color scheme. Here's the code that you would paste into it knows I have WordPress. And it's like, you would just paste this. Well, it looks like a website. It's
Lois, the comment
completely
I made
not.
about earlier about our industry, we can't just write an AI prompt and produce a bunch of source code and give it to our clients. That I would lose my job overnight. But what we know code, so we do rely on a lot of the AI gen help us solve problems, but we end up auditing the code. And again, it does end up saving us a lot of time. And I hate to admit this, but sometimes it comes up with better solutions than we thought of.
Well, and again, you would lose your job because ethic about a thing, but you are making your company vulnerable
Yes.
to all kinds of bad actors, nasty things, blah blah blah. And so that's where I continue to hear in our conversations of the last several weeks the difference between the professional, which you are, doing in a business versus a hobbyist. Both have valid. Uh, both of those criteria are valid. But again, I would not hire myself out as a carpenter.
Right.
Now I'll go help a friend. So, Dave, anytime you need, I'll come over with a hammer, or I'll answer your questions on your website. But if you charge me for it, then we'll talk.
I'll bring my axe.
The other question was, Tamara and I both come from theater. We have a language. We speak to actors. We speak to directors. We speak to crew. We have a language. I realized playing with Midjourney this week, I am speaking to a part of my creative team now. And the more information I have to give it, the data, to your point, the better its return is. And the hallucinations of a thing, yeah, it's kind of funny. Sometimes you get the happy accents, but we do on set too. But again, getting the ideal out of the creative's brain and into somebody else's brain that is to help fulfill that code. And so this is where I'm listening to Lois in her HTML language historically was able to do, create a website. But now I think what I'm hearing is you are saying, Elias, that language commoditized, flattened. The English
is a good word. Yes.
English language is now becoming the code.
That's a very interesting way to put it. Yes.
That's why I need you to deconstruct that, because
but it's the communication engine. Call it the code, but yes.
Help me understand the difference then, because I can speak, production text to you and it'll feel like code to you. So go down stage left.
Code is mechanical.
But it goes back. I think it goes back to Lois's point: is the trust issue. How do you that the output is correct, especially as a non-expert, right? How does David know that the application he just built is not going to blow up tomorrow, or has a virus written into it that's going to encrypt his website and ask him for Bitcoin in a week? He doesn't.
Candy corn will get me Bitcoin. Dave, what are you doing?
So in this, candy corn will give him Bitcoin. I've lost my mouse. Where's my mouse? In this scheduling app earlier today, I had put in a whole bunch of things on the schedule, and then I made a change to it. And right after I made that, I asked the AI to make a change to it. As soon as it did that, all of my content was gone. Everything was gone. I wrote to the AI. I'm like, what just happened? And it said to me, it was actually really interesting. It said, "I'm so sorry. You're right. The last change that I made deleted your entire database." Now, I didn't have anything important in there, but that could happen.
Make me cry.
It happened
could
to
happen.
me
to
recently.
tell
Yeah.
them to save the database on the side before you do
Right.
anything.
Now, it did give me a way to recover it. So it wasn't as if it was, it did say, here's how you can recover it, which I was really, I didn't need to, but I was really grateful for that. But that's not necessarily a virus, but fragility of.
Oh, the early days of word processing. Command S.
Right,
I still
Oh my
twitch to
gosh,
this
every
day.
day.
I
The
still
idea
twitch.
that you don't have to save your work as you go. Yeah.
Which and accountability is a big topic of discussion today. Let's say a business ends up signing a contract with OpenAI for coding agents, however we want to call them, and they start writing a bunch of code, and the code ends up being buggy or causes a financial loss for the company that wrote it. Or if you're thinking healthcare, this could be much, much worse. Who's accountable?
Yeah.
The AI company? The AI company may have outsourced the development of the AI engine to another company, may have been open source. Who's accountable? The developer that wrote the prompt? Is it the AI model? And even if we all say and agree, well, no, it's going to be the responsibility of the company that wrote the AI model, they don't know how these models work.
This goes back to, who's responsible for the car accident is the guy holding the wheel, or the person who owns a car. This has all been settled, in real life, but we haven't ever addressed this in the digital world. And in the digital world, things can happen as in Canada here, we were watching the baseball game and the whole service died. Like there was about 2 more innings to go. And that central server froze and all the subsequent distribution network collapsed. And it took about 30 minutes for them to reboot this one and then reboot the next one and until Canada got all of its stuff back again. I missed about 20 minutes of a hockey game in that time, but the baseball game session at this point, and they were all cut off, and it was a panic. I thought I'd hear screaming in the streets, but anyway, this kind of failure can happen. Also, when we talk about software being written, what's the lifespan of it? I mean, the site that David has made, specific activity and group and objective. And that's the best part of bespoke is it's targeted to what Dave needs, and he doesn't need anything else. Flying animals are not part of the scenario. I am a project manager, and I have sat down with people about software. I haven't really a team doing it, and the back and forth is minute. This is not doing this the way we thought it would. Make it do it the way we said it should be. Oh, well, our idea was to do it this way instead. And they go, no, you got to do it my way. Now, I don't know if you guys have worked with, do not change anything until a kernel signs off on it. And the sign off book is really big. I love Omni software programs because I use OmniPlan for project management, Graphel for design and layout and schematics. I use thought development, for organizing my thoughts, and then before I start writing. And I use OmniFocus for scheduling, task management, and collaboration with others in large teams. And they have been a very small operation that grew into a monster. And I have on their subscription rate for about 15, 20 years now. And I'm going to say the best code ever written was these guys.
Oops.
Full right professional.
Yeah. All right. Out of nowhere, took over, and then was bought by Ashton Tate and killed. It did everything. And
You keep old crap around just to show it during shows. Like
yeah, I got prop piles. Yes. But I'm also like this guy to the first days of the Mac, and I was a shareware addict.
Yeah.
New stuff came out all the time, and I made, just for the show, I made a short list. I got lots of extensions, utilities, and widgets, which of course don't work anymore on menu bar stuff, but I still use a clipboard app, a folder manager, which is like a save and reclaim manager, a graphic converter to take any kind of file format and graphics and just make it the one I want. And I use a free ruler for measuring things on the screen. BB Edit is still operating, and it's just text writing, and it's a code writing tool. I don't write code though, but I also have Mist still, SimCity, Solitaire Till Dawn, and I still use iBooks Author, which is depreciated and discontinued by Apple. And I was using Pixelmator recently and really loved it. And then Apple decided to absorb the future of it is. But that's part of what I'm talking about, is that the great software can be written and then just suddenly it's not there anymore. So, in the next computer, you used to be able to write your own like apps. I don't know how many people had a chance to see a demo for. I got pretty close to a team of guys who use Next, and they just needed a widget or something to do a thing for them, or run a cron or something, and they just, in 5 minutes, they just put something together, and there was an interface for it and everything. You push a button and it worked. I was quite amazed at that, but I'm not a code guy.
One of the with this is that the stuff that I'm able to build in Lovable, it's never going to take the place of a Google app or an Amazon app, or it's never going to hurt the big guys. It's never going to affect the big guys, but it might affect some. It might, if I can build whatever I need for my bespoke, problems.
Graphic converter is just one guy in Sweden. That's all it is.
Right.
Like, he's been doing it for 35 years, and it's just one guy.
What's
to
the
pay
risk
for
of
that
that?
app. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What's the risk of losing the little guy, though? Why
no,
is
that's
that
what I'm
concern?
asking. I don't know.
That is the risk. It's like he could die, and then nobody can support his stuff, or he could,
Well, yeah, yes and
sell it
no.
off,
I mean, if it's important enough, David would put in a right, his account, his admin account would have a
Right.
backup person, and it's not a black box. I mean, at the end of the day, Dave, I've seen some of the code that Lovable has written for you, and for me, it was readable. I could understand exactly what it was doing, how it was doing it. So there is ability for it.
Yeah.
Right. There.
I think it comes back to what we come back to a lot of the time, which is no one's going to lose money off of me writing my small program, because I am not going to pay anyone to go and do that. That is not money that someone is losing, because do that. I mean, and Sky knows this. I have this job that suddenly I became an editor, and I was like, Sky, I don't know what to do. We can't afford an editor, and suddenly I have to do editing, and I love editors. I'm not an editor. And he's like, well, just use, this editor. It's text. Amazing. So now I'm doing my little text-based editing. It still takes me forever. What I know a real editor could just do so quickly, it takes me forever. But what it has done is taught me what I want to know, because now I'm like, you know what? I want to do more than this is able to do. And it sped that process up for me in have imagined. So now here I am learning real editor software because I'm like, well, I need to be able to do this and I can't do it here with my little text-based editing. That's kind of annoying. And so I do think that no one's losing money because we're not paying an editor, we're paying me. Like I'm the one who's got to do it. And
I
so no one lost money off of that, but I gained a whole set of knowledge that I wasn't intending on doing. And each step that I took with AI made me realize what I didn't know, but what was possible. And then I learned that. So
Just
I
because
do
you
think
made
that's
your own
really
chair, you're
interesting.
not a carpenter, but you didn't hire
Right.
one. You just learned
well,
to make your own chair.
if it was 6 months ago, 9 months ago, when vibe coding and what we're talking about right now really made the news cycle, all of the software as a service companies that are publicly listed lost a tremendous amount of market cap.
Oh, really?
Right.
So the market did
Oh, I didn't
take
know
note
that.
of
That's
that,
interesting.
saw, well, this is going to kill those business models.
Right.
And they did lose a lot of market cap. And whether it's justified or not,
Yeah.
I don't know. My personal opinion, it is. I do think it removes a lot of the need for all these little applications that we pay $9.99 a month here, $19.99 a month there. Do the job halfway where you could spend a few hours on Lovable like David did and build something that does the job 100% of the way there just as you want it. Why do we need all these software as a service applications?
Have any of you ever, if you've worked for a larger company, you may have used Paycom? You're familiar with Paycom? It's Barbara Cochran, actually, from I think it's her
Shark
business.
Tank.
Yeah, from Shark Tank. I think it's her business. It's a huge payroll app, company app. I don't know what the hell it does.
It's like ADP. Yeah.
Yeah, like ADP. It's also terrible. It's just painful to use. And so much so that we use it here. I don't have a choice. So much so that 3 years ago, I told my teachers, stop putting in for time off on Paycom. And I just created a Google form. And I said, just put it in there and I'll deal with Paycom. Just let me, I don't even want you to have to deal with it. It's just... So over the summer, I said, well, you know what? I don't need to use a form for this. Like we can create an app. So I rebuilt a Paycom. Now, it doesn't handle taxes. It doesn't do any of that stuff. But hours, it tracks time. And it's.
But then you could take that app and integrate it into Paycom.
Yeah, see, that's where there's a lot about this that is fun and neat and easy. And then there is a point where you say that's like like multi-tenancy, like integrating with other apps. It's not easy. It's not
not just that it's not easy, it's scary.
Yeah. I mean, with Lovable, like you said, everything's built in. Even if you use the AI Studio, even if you build an app over there, it can visualize, it can create a beautiful front end for your app. But then what do you do? Then you've got to,
you can't stitch it together.
Right. You have to do something with it then. And so Lovable, and this is why it's such a powerful tool, so damn easy. Like Canva, like Wix.
And
right?
well, but it's the thing that's better about it though, is that with Canva and Wix and all of these services, because they are subscription models, they must keep iterating to make their subscription worthy. So they keep adding features. And I liked it when it was just regular Canva. I don't need to have all these other things. So what you're saying is, I need this problem solved. This is how I'm going to solve it. I can iterate it to where it's going to solve my problems, but no one is worrying about trying to keep a customer or fight off the next best thing. Literally, you're getting what you need, and that's it.
Yeah. These tools do make me bleed a little money, though. I'm not going to lie about that. I mean, not a lot at all, comparatively, but
you're going to die by 1,000 mosquitoes.
Yeah,
1,000 mosquitoes.
Last month I had $200 worth of credits, and usually before the end of the month I
spread over 500 little apps.
Yes, exactly, and that buys me about 1,000 credits or something like that. And before the end of each set it to just 100 credits. And I didn't this time. And so now I'm sitting on 1,000 credits, and guess what? I built a new app. Like it just, and if I run out, I'll put in another $100 because it's, I don't know. I was going to say it's worth it, but
The first one's free.
I know
Yeah.
that's exactly
Free.
right. That's exactly right. Sorry, Lois, go ahead.
So I want to come at this slightly differently. You are making something that you are going to use and it's just for you. And okay. But now that just about anybody who has any of knowledge can make something, an app that once it works, you can just turn around and sell it. You can advertise it
Yep.
on some game on the phone or something, and just get people to click on it, stuff and whatever. Where's the control? Who is looking at the makers of these new simple apps that are made by AI? Who is vetting them? Who is looking at them and saying, is it safe? Does it have in it? I mean, I tend to only buy things that are sold at the App Store because my belief, right or wrong,
Wrong.
is that Apple is looking at things, and if I buy something there, it's not going to contain a virus.
Right.
Than most. So that is a safer assumption than like on the Android Play Store. And I am an Android user, but I will openly say that Apple does more vetting than others. But Lois, I think it goes back to a comment I made earlier. Who does that today for human-made websites and human-made apps? Nobody.
Well, and I go to the city market. We have a beautiful little town here in Edmonds, and they sell their fruit, sell their candles. I don't know if there's a public, vetting. Are those candles made out of, made from real bees honey or bees hives? Or I don't know. So
I do think though, Sky, that I mean, I take Lois's point. There's something that feels different. Maybe we're wrong, but it feels different to me that any old David can create a song and then maybe even potentially sell it and get money for it. And who knows? I mean, I understand who knows with any company. I get that. But nonetheless, it feels different for a company to put a piece of software out.
I want to see your Rabbi. I think that's going to be a seller. That's going to be a seller.
I don't think so. And again, I'll say that I did think originally about, oh wow, boy, I could make this tool and I could sell it, and that's just not what this. I'm scared now that we've had this conversation. Now I'm worried that my apps are all going to break. Some of them I don't care, like it's not a big deal if they're going to break. One of them in particular really can't break. Like I really need it to keep working. And that actually is what I'll just say. I can't show it, unfortunately, because there's his child's information. You can get pretty complex with this. If you put the time in, it can build some pretty complex tools. All right, last.
I will say.
Can I say one thing?
I will say to oh yes, please go ahead.
Tony, go ahead.
Tony.
No, I was just going to say, David, from the way you were just talking about it, from this point of view, the way in which Apple continues to update the existing apps might be the way in which you ought to look at the apps that you create, that it is necessary after a certain length of time that you have to update your app. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually think it was Elias who taught me that one day in carpool that code is kind of a living, breathing thing that needs refreshed, and it needs that as changes are made to a database, as new input is put in, as new APIs are accessed or whatever, that you can't just assume that the code is going to keep working. You have to keep updating it or fixing it.
Well, and also, Tony, Apple has a couple of pieces of software that they are managing, but they are the Apple App Store is a marketplace, and thousands of other people are the people that are bringing their thing to that location. And now, is Apple vetting it? This is where Elias comes in.
They do. Like it's very hard, especially with Apple. With Android, it's a little bit easier, but it's very hard on an Apple, like the iPhone App Store, for me to write an app that has a virus that's going to go steal the credit card info you have on your phone for downloadable in the
Nobody
app.
would do that.
That is very hard. They do vet that layer. Do they vet that I create an app where you can, enter some information and ask questions and make a pretty picture, but under the hood, I'm harvesting all that data and stealing it? No, but every app you use is doing. But
Yeah.
I had a question for Elias.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Okay. What kind of code is Emmy writing?
Emmy? Mostly Elmo code right now.
Elmo code.
She play with Swift Play.
I do plan on getting her started on it.
Lego.
Young.
Get her into the Lego stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
Very sad.
one of the questions in our panel discussion questions was, is there going to be another divide between who do this and people who don't do this? And my answer to that is absolutely. I'm going to be on the don't do this divide. I'm not even going to know it. How would I know?
I think you'd be surprised, Lois, though, and we have to wrap up. It's really late, but I think you'd be surprised for your Quaker gatherings. You know, if you're doing a potluck dinner, like you could hop on over into Lovable and create a little app whereby people could sign up. They could. I mean, you really could.
You can do a seating plan,
right.
I am the most technologically advanced in my meeting. I mean, it's like there's no way that I'm going to get 30 Quakers to look at an app. Never mind.
Fair enough.
I feel a challenge. Now that's an app I write.
There you go.
You can dream. You can dream.
But if it does, maybe I'll write a couple of more pages and add them to my
there you
website.
go. That's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
This is a conversation we're going to continue to have because these tools are only going to get better. They're only going to get better. And there's always going to be more to talk about. I'm so grateful to all of you. And Elias, I'm so happy that you joined us. I will see you tomorrow. And thank you so much for taking the time to be here so late on a Thursday night.
No, thank you. I really enjoyed meeting you all and really enjoyed the conversations. I could honestly talk about this for another 3 hours.
Awesome.
So
I love it.
Very happy to be here.
We'll do.
Yeah.
We'll
have you back for security stuff.
I was due for another security talk, and so we'll talk about getting you back for that also. Amazing. So tomorrow we're going to be on in the Zoom test kitchen. Everyone has to come dressed up as their favorite avatar. That's the challenge for tomorrow's Zoom test kitchen, and we'll see you then, and next week, and beyond. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a wonderful